Sea life is full of intrigue and diversity, so much so that it nearly seems we hear about a new underwater creature every day. Join us in our endeavor to better understand the waters at our borders and the life that fills it. Welcome to Understanding Underwater. On sea rocks, shells, or any other substrate, you may find these peculiar creatures in shallow waters, rocky waves, or even as deep as 500 meters below ocean surface. The phylum Entoprocta, also known as Camptozoa, encases roughly 200 known species of unmoving suspension feeders. They live out their lives in marine habitats attached to boundaries and consume bacteria and small debris. While the main species of Entoprocta is usually found in the ocean, two species of phylum live in freshwater habitats. The phylum includes two main orders, Solitaria and Colonialis. Colonialis, or the colonial group, is characterized by their communal lifestyle, while Solitaria, or the solitary group, is known to live individually and will often only have symbiotic relationships with nearby entoprocs. Both orders have something called an entoproct foot that functions in attachment and locomotion. Inside the foot is a foot gland that allows for gliding over surfaces, similar to the movement of snails. In this tree, generated from phylogenetic data, Entoprocta and Mollusca are close relatives, hinting at the possible reasoning behind the similarities in locomotion. Also, squids and Entoprocta both possess tentacles, hence their closeness in the displayed tree.
Entoprocs are bilaterally symmetrical invertebrates and have only two tissue layers. They are also pseudocoelomates, meaning they have no true body cavity. The entoproc's head, or calyx, is colloquially termed the goblet. The crown of the goblet features the creature's tentacles, which reach upward and are lined with cilia. The calyx is connected to the peduncle, which branches all the way down to the muscular base that keeps the animal in place. The calyx holds a U-shaped gut featuring both the mouth and anus, as well as the reproductive and nervous systems, the last of which is made up of central ganglion. Entoprocs have no circulatory system. In terms of digestion, entoprocs use the cilia on their tentacles to create water currents that carry tiny food particles, like phytoplankton or algae, down to a ciliated food groove at the base of the U-shaped gut. Here, the food is moved to the mouth, where muscle contractions and ciliary action share the responsibility of moving the food through the digestive system and ending at the anus.
Both colonial and solitary species can reproduce asexually, by way of budding, but they can also reproduce sexually. Individuals can be dioecious or protandrous hermaphrodites. Gonads, if present, empty into the water via the gonopore. Male zooids discharge sperm into the water, where the sperm can then seep into the reproductive tract of female zooids. Then fertilization begins within the ovaries and the oviducts. Entoprocta are protozoans, so they follow the typical protozome holoballistic spiral cleavage pattern. Development continues to a coeloblastulous stage, in which larvae grow inside the calyx. Then, in most species, larvae begin a free-swimming, feeding planktonic larval stage. Some species produce crawling larvae instead, but most larvae freely swim to form new colonies. This development of larvae, marked by the metamorphosis, is quite similar to the development of orders within the phylum Annelida, hinting at an unclear but speculated link between the two. This link is even portrayed and justified by our tree, based on morphological traits. Note the relative closeness of the two clades. This could be the phylogenetic reasoning behind the similar digestive structure, as both taxa move food throughout their bodies using contraction, as observed in earthworms. In fact, there is some empirical discussion regarding the phylogeny of the phylum Entoprocta. When they were first discovered in 1774, Entoprocta were classified along with Birozoa, due to the physical similarities shared among the two. However, they are dissimilar in their position of anus, embryonic cleavage patterns, and body cavity types. It wasn't until 1870 when the German zoologist Heinrich Nisch named the phylum Entoprocta. Since then, multiple phylogenetics studies have suggested Entoprocta be considered classes within a single taxon called Polyzoa instead.
Thank you for joining us in this close look at the phylum Entoprocta. With all its intricacies and quirks, be sure you don't miss next week's installment of Understanding Underwater, in which we explore the oddities of the phylum Nighteria.